let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on inside.
Hey everybody, we kind of already explained did a little bit of the walk around on the outside, but we're going to start with what we call the cockpit area and kind of help you understand why we made the decision to go with Newmar. Again, please do your research. There's, as our previous videos stated, there are tons of decisions to go over, and as Susan would say, back and forth, back and forth. So do your research. The one thing that really sold us on Newmar, not only the name behind it, but the comfort drive, which I'll explain here in a little bit. But in 2020, Newmar cleaned up their dashboard quite a bit. A lot of the functions that were on your dashboard is now on your steering wheel, so you can control quite a bit just off your steering wheel and looking straight down at your dashboard versus having to look off to the side and fiddle with things as you're driving, especially a coach, you know, this large. You know, again, we're over 40 feet long. So on my left side here we have our jack pad. So this is basically our stabilizing jack. So when we're at the power, or at the campsite, this is what I will use to level the coach. In travel mode, we'll have the jacks up, we'll hit all retract and turn off the power. But it does have an auto level, so you know, once you power on, it'll tell you that it's operating, if it has low voltage, if we're on an excessive slope. And then these arrows is that we can adjust it ever so slightly on each jack. We have 2 in the front, 2 in the rear. So this is, and we can also control this off our phone. We can pair this with our phone. So they took the transmission. This normally would have been a transmission pad, but now they've incorporated it all into the steering wheel. This is still all your basic. You got your mirror controls, your headlights. This is a battery boost switch here, meaning that if we have different sets of batteries, we have what we call house batteries and chassis batteries. Chassis batteries is what starts the engine. House batteries is what runs things when we're not on shore power, meaning we're not plugged in an RV park. It runs like the refrigerator and whatnot. So say our chassis batteries ran low and we just didn't have enough on that we could start the coach. We could go to the house battery and kind of boost that up to get us started. So again, you know, the steering wheel is it's not like it does go all the way up, and it also telescopes that you can adjust it however you need to. But typically these are now our controls. This is my menu and I'll start it up here in a second, but this is my menu pad that will control what's on my dashboard instrument panel down there. But this, talking about that transmission pad, this is now taken over. As you can see, it has, you know, drive, neutral, and reverse. This has now become my transmission. And then again, just back over here, we have a dome light switch that will control the overhead dome light. Down here are the 2 visors. Starting here, this is the visor shade, the sun shade, and then the actual shade is the blackout shade that at night we will black out, you know, the coach, so nobody can see it. So and then we've got some overhead fans, which is basically this switch will blow air on because it's such a huge windshield, the typical defroster will not defrost the window, so we actually have to help blow air to defog this windshield. Next to it is just high, medium, low for that. This is our generator start button, which starts the 8,000 watt generator up front, so we can run that when we're driving to help run the AC units to cool the coach as we're moving, or if we're not on shore power, again meaning that we're hooked up to campground power, we can use this to run some of the equipment on board. So this acts as just what it is. It's a generator. So and it sits in front of the nose cap area. And of course, this is I've got it on air horn mode. You have your standard, what I like to refer to, or Angie from National refers to as your wussy horn, kind of like a horn on your car, but I like the air horns. And then basic automotive style air conditioning for the front cab only. This is XM radio with navigation, and then this is my backup camera, which you'll see once I start here. I can see the rear of the coach as we're traveling, so I can see our towed vehicle behind us, and then as I turn on my left and right turn signals, it will show me that side of the coach. And as I start, I'll explain really quick, just a real quick overview of the instrument panel. You're going to hear a little bit of probably noise. It's just telling me that our air pressure is low. That will be the engine building up air pressure. But I'll explain the controls, and then I'll show you a little bit about comfort drive. So they're really not too bad to start. So right now it's telling me I have low air, and these are my two air pressures. I've got one on either side, and basically it'll build up air pressure. Once it gets to a certain PSI, my air pressure will go out. And of course you got your engine temperature, your battery and oil pressure, and then your standard, see, it's already starting to build up quite rapidly. And while it's doing that, the coach was actually aired, what we call aired down, so it's right up on top of the tires. Right now the coach is ever so slightly rising, and that's going up to what we call ride height, meaning we're ready to drive. This is what now controls the majority of my instruments. So I can get into a home button, and as I walk through this keypad, this will actually change. So that's my trip. I got trip 1 and 2. I've got gauges, so if I go in and hit OK, it'll pull up. This is my DEF. I'd like to always keep this one up. That's diesel exhaust fluid on the newer coaches. This is what helps prevent that black smoke that you would used to see on older coaches. I always have distance to empty, and then I want to know the actual number of my engine temperature, which is basically this gauge. So right now we're running quite cool. I can back out of that menu. I've got fuel economy, vehicle configuration. This is where I control my dash, brightness, and my steering. And if I go down the steering, this is that comfort drive that I was telling you about. So if I hit it, as you notice, it gets tighter or looser depending on where I put that level indicator. And I will demonstrate, basically, I will take it all the way to less. I will show you what it will do. And the thing that I like about comfort drive is that on normal driving, I'll leave it kind of in the middle. Windier, or sometimes I'll get it tightened up on straightaways. But on curvy roads and tight turns, like in an RV park, normally on the old trucks, you used to have to really crank these wheels. Being the less configuration, I'm going to take one finger and I'm going to turn this wheel, and that is 100% to the left. The thing I like about comfort drive is I can let go and this wheel will exactly center itself. It knows this wheel is now centered straight back, so if I've got Susan behind me guiding and she needs me to just kind of come straight back, I know I can let go of the wheel and I'm going that straight back. Show on my left turn signal, and then the right, you'll probably see the door. So that just shows you down the coach, and when you're done turning on the turn signal, it'll just go right back to the back camera again. So if we have our vehicle back there being towed, you'll see the vehicle back there. It's not meant to really see out in the distance. Although I can, it's really meant to see how our tow vehicle is doing back there. So in a nutshell, that is one of the major reasons why we went with Newmar. Is again the name, but it's the comfort drive. It takes that stress off of me as far as my shoulders, so I can drive longer distances. Not that we would want to, but I can drive longer distance without feeling that fatigue. So it really helps my shoulders, and I don't feel like I'm manhandling this coach. And it feels more natural to me. So that's our decision factors. But like I said in our previous video, is get out there, test drive them, do your research. There's a ton of information. If you have any questions about what you're seeing, don't hesitate. Use the comment section below, or even go on our website, which is captivatingjourney.net. Go to the contact form and you can reach us there too. Send us a question. I'll be more than happy to answer it based on what I know so far. If I don't know the answer, I will hope to find the answer or lead you in the right direction, as I don't know everything yet. Above my head is the main compartment that handles the electrical. I gotta stand up. So this tells me what power control I'm currently on. Like right now it says 50 amp service, meaning I'm on shore power. It will tell me if I'm on generator, and it controls what I know exactly what's being brought into this coach, how much power. This first button is just an exterior step lockout, so when we're at the park, the stair will stay out and not always retract, which is not good for the motor, the stair motor. Now when you start the coach, no matter if you've got it locked out or not, it will automatically retract. This is just the electrical water heater. Our coach is currently with propane, so we can throw that water heater on while we're hooked up to shore power. And this is just an outside security light, basically like a porch light. This one over here is the water heater as long as we're on propane. So we're not on propane, so I keep that off. This is just an antenna to help dial in local channels. This is telling us, if we're on the inverter. Again, more of a power management station. This is the awning, the door awning. I can get it retracted in and out, and also have some awning lights. This is our main awning, so I would turn it on and I can retract and extend it. And it's also got a wind sensor and a rain sensor that will bring it in if it detects too much wind. I typically will pull it in myself. Anytime you have it deployed and you turn it off, that wind sensor goes out, so you want to be mindful of that. This is the two slide rooms, which we'll show you here in a little bit as when we're opened up. But this controls the big wall slide on the driver's side, and then this is the living room slide out and in for the passenger side. And then our rear slide is controlled from the bedroom. This is where we control we can see our tank levels. We can always see our house and our chassis batteries. We're running right now with fresh water at 10%. Gray water is empty. Black we'll have to empty. And then our propane. And then this is where we'll control our heating. We have a living room and a bedroom AC. We'll control our temperatures. We can control our heat. And we can either set that up as run the heater, the air conditioning, or auto, to where it'll just keep it maintained at whatever temperature that we'll set it for. And then last but not least, this is our generator. We can set it to come on and or start up if we need to, if we lost power and these levels drop, the voltage drop below a certain level, the generator would automatically start to recharge our batteries. So that's kind of it in this panel. I appreciate you joining me for this.